Hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. All right, I wanted to give you guys just a little bit of an introduction video just to let you know exactly what I'm doing with this video. Now, this is going to be a Marvel Snap video. I am going to be playing some games. Marvel Snap is awesome, and I've been playing it as my main game for the last year or so, maybe year and a half. Pretty much since it released, I have been playing it. I did take a few small breaks here or there, but overall, I love the game. And the main reason why I love the game is because of the convenience of it. It is mostly a mobile game. I started playing on my phone. It is great. I am rank 86 now in this video, as you just saw, and it's really convenient to be able to play a 3-minute or 4-minute match here or there, wherever I am. If I'm on the subway, I'm on the bus, maybe I'm at work, in the bathroom, whatever I'm doing, I'm able to get in a quick game, and it plays really well on the phone. So I looked into how to record the games on my phone, and it turns out that it is super easy just to push a single button on the iPhone and boom, you have your gameplay video downloaded. And the cool thing about that is, if you have a good game, you can keep it. If the game was a little bit lackluster or something strange happened, just get rid of it. You don't need that stuff. Now, like most of you, I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I watch a lot of Marvel Snap content on YouTube, and I think a lot of the creators are doing some great stuff. But I still think there is some room for a little bit of innovation, at least in this genre, or in the Let's Play genre in general. There are a lot of things that creators end up doing that I don't particularly like. There are 3 specific ones that come to mind. How often have you seen something like this? All right, it's turn 5, Avengers Compound. Not a whole lot to do here. I'm thinking it's probably just going to be the She-Hulk into the Avengers Compound, right? See what the opponent does. Opponent's in the tank. Or like this. All right, put the Shocker over in Nidavellir. See what the opponent's up to. Opponent has something there as well. It's a Gladiator. And does the opponent get luckier? Oh, that's some bad luck. All right, turn 4. Yeah, I think I'm gonna snap it. See what my opponent does. And the opponent runs away. A win's a win. All right, a little unlucky for the opponent, not a big deal. And also like this. All right, let's see, turn 1. We got the Abby on the left and Nebula in hand. Now, do I put it on the left? I don't know. I always put it on the right. Oh, but it's the Abby on the left. All of these things kind of bother me to a degree when I'm watching the video. It either causes me to click off of the video or to at least skip ahead to some further point in the video. And I kind of want to avoid that. So what I want to do with my gameplay is bring you only the best games, the games that after I play them, I smile a little bit, I want to tell somebody about them, the games that are just awesome and had really interesting things happen in them as far as Marvel Snap goes. And unfortunately, they're not going to have live commentary because I'm playing these games when I'm out and about doing things. Instead, I'm going to basically be watching the videos and giving commentary about the plays that I made, the decisions that I made, or maybe some advice, or maybe even reflecting on some mistakes that I may have made in the play. It's going to be after the fact anyways, and I want to be fully transparent about that. I am picking only the best games that are interesting, and I am going to be talking about them after I know everything that has already happened in the game. And I hope that's going to still be interesting. Of course, the live reactions are what make a lot of content on the internet interesting. When some big play happens and somebody jumps up and they scream, "Ah!" That is fun. And maybe in the future, I will start making videos like that. Almost certainly, I will have some time to sit down and make a video in that sense. But for the most part, I think I have to record my footage here and there, and I wanted to still do that, and I need to find a way to present it, and I think this is the best solution for it. So what I need from you right now is let me know what you think about this approach to making a video, a Let's Play video, or a Marvel Snap video, however you want to look at it. Do you think this is interesting? How did these videos turn out, or these games? Do you think they were fun to watch? And any advice that you might have, I would love to hear it down in the comments. Please help me out with this. I want to get back to making videos, but boy, oh boy, I have been working on this one for probably like 2 weeks, and it's really hard to find time to sit down and do stuff just with my schedule the way it is. That's life, right? Anyways, let's stop this preamble and jump on over to the computer. We'll watch a few games. I'm going to be bringing you 5 games. I should say also that these 5 games are from the Hellfire Gala season, but I have been playing this same Sera Hitmonkey deck in the new season, the World War Hulk Scar season. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It just came out yesterday, and I'm already up to rank 86, as you saw. I haven't been playing a ton, but I'd say about 2 hours of playing, and I have been ripping through a lot of the games. The deck is awesome. It's super fun to play, and that's why I want to bring it to you today. So let's head on over there and see how things look. All right, we're finally over at the computer looking at some gameplay footage, and this first game that I'm bringing you is an awesome game. Now, I said we are playing some Sera Hitmonkey. If you've been playing Marvel Snap, you are familiar with this deck because it's not exactly a fancy deck. It is a pretty sweet deck, though. The deck revolves around Hitmonkey and a whole bunch of cheap stuff that is reduced in cost thanks to Sera. This deck wants to put out a huge wave of power on turn 6 with Sera on turn 5 to give us that cost reduction. So this game is going pretty interesting. We play out Angela on turn 2 just to pump up that middle lane. Eventually she'll get pretty big, and Bishop over in the right column to put a little bit of pressure over there. Opponent got very lucky with the Vormir destroying the first card that you play there. He plays out the Electro dies, getting rid of the downside of Electro and giving them +1 energy every turn. My turn 4, feeling a little bit weak, so I just throw down the Goose. Goose has been working pretty good in this meta because a lot of big power stuff has been coming out, specifically Miss Marvel in the middle lane. She is a 4 power card, so throwing down Goose into the middle lane means that they can't put down 4, 5s, and 6s there. I also throw down Jeff just to move him around a little bit, pumps up the Angela. Jeff, always a great card. I do have this awesome skin now. I did mention that in the video that I put out last week, 2 weeks ago. I was looking for a Jeff skin, and I did get it. Killmonger on turn 4 for the opponent wipes out everything, and alarm bells should be ringing off in my head, but they don't because, well, sometimes you don't think about what's about to happen in a quick second here. My turn 5 kind of sucks because I didn't hit the Sera, so I don't really know what to do. I throw down the Kitty Pryde just to get a little bit more on Angela, and I throw that useless Ghost Rider that came from the hub over into Vormir just to clear out the death trigger here. And when my opponent's things reveal, the game takes a very, very interesting turn. We got the big boy, Galactus, coming in. I did not expect a Galactus on turn 5. I haven't been seeing too much Galactus, but there it is. Galactus comes in, destroys the other 2 locations, and I'm sitting here in a pretty bad position. I have nothing over in this new TVA location, and I decide to take the gamble. Do they have the Eliath, or do they have a big thing? I throw down Shang-Chi. I'm brave. I want to gamble on this. This is in Infinite, and the Shang-Chi nails the Orca, and Maximus comes in to secure the win. A huge victory here. Felt so good when I was playing it. I was in the car, and oh man, I was smiling and just over the moon happy. So that's the first game down. Let's head on over to the second one. All right, on to game number 2. Opening hand looks pretty sweet. A couple of low cards with Maximus and Jeff, and more importantly, 2 1-drops. My favorite card in this deck these days, Echo. Echo has been a huge card in this current meta game. Tons of people are playing ongoing stuff, and it's just such a great deterrent card. I've been throwing it mid just to discourage the Miss Marvel. Same thing with Goose going mid. I just don't want Miss Marvel in my middle lane. And honestly, I haven't seen Miss Marvel forever, probably because it's stranded in my opponent's hands quite often. Now, I do get a little unlucky here with the Echo, playing it into the murder world, the unrevealed murder world, but that is just the risk of this game. And one of the things that makes the game a little bit more interesting, in my opinion, you never know what these locations are going to be. you just got to deal with it. Jeff on turn 2 is always good. I think, of course, you want the Angela for the most part on turn 2, but hey, you can never complain about a Jeff. And then that awesome Jim Lee art Bishop coming down on turn 3. Bishop has also been proving to be a powerhouse of a card in this deck. Now my opponent finally plays a card, plays out the Green Goblin on New York, and you know, that tells us probably they're on Junk. Junk has been a pretty popular deck since Annihilus came out. That's what I expected, or that's what I am expecting from the opponent. Now Werewolf by Night is a little bit unique in the Junk deck, but I still put them on Junk for the most part. I did look at the opponent's hand a little bit there before I played out the Maximus. I saw that they were on 6 cards. I've been doing this a lot with Maximus. If you can predict that your opponent is going to have maybe 6 or 5 cards in their hand when you play out the Maximus, it could end up not drawing any cards for the opponent, or maybe just 1 card. So a 2/6, draw your opponent 1 card is not too bad. I do hit the Sera on turn 5, which is pretty great. That's exactly what you want to be happening, and the opponent predictably plays out the Sentry. It is a Junk deck. So we know Annihilus is coming down. Annihilus is a 5/7, so they have 1 extra mana to play around with. Our hand's looking pretty great. We got the tech card, the exact tech card that we want. This deck is playing Shang-Chi and Enchantress. Enchantress in this situation would not be that great, but the Shang-Chi definitely takes out the Sentry, so we know that's certainly going to go left. Now the debate is, where do I want to put the rest of my power? I'm pretty much set on giving up New York at this point. I expect them to have the Annihilus, so New York is going to be -13. I'm not going to contend with -13. They might put the Annihilus mid, they might put the Annihilus in New York, I'm not exactly sure, but I decided to go for the Murder World to contest that. So I nail the Sentry with the Shang-Chi. That's going to give us a huge lead on the left side. I put the 0 cost or 0 power Mysterio there because I know Bishop's going to get huge along with taking out the Sentry. We got left. Gotta contest middle, but we got a huge Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey coming down 10 power. I think it's 10 power. It is 10 power. We had 4 other cards, and they have the Annihilus. The Annihilus does send over the Void. Who cares? Brings the Werewolf back middle, but we still have enough power in the mid for a pretty clean victory. I really had fun with this game. I love playing against Junk. It's such an interesting archetype, and I think the deck does pretty well against it. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, on to game number 3. Opening hand, not as cool as the last game, but hey, we still got some stuff to work with on turn 2. Oscorp Tower, kind of an annoying location for our deck, but not the worst one. Most of the time you can just ignore it until turn 3. Look, this deck is really weak to a lot of different locations, and eventually, maybe if people are interested, I'm going to put out maybe a little bit of a guide of the locations that were pretty bad for this deck, but in this game, I'm not going to worry about it too much. So Goose in the middle as predicted, just to keep that middle lane clear of any 4, 5s, and 6s, and I wanted a little bit more power with the Bishop also. Didn't really have any other location, couldn't play to Oscorp, didn't really want to risk throwing into Hala. Hala is also pretty bad because our cards don't get big until turns 5 and 6. So Hala is one of those locations that you probably don't want to be contesting too early unless you're throwing down a Maximus, and then you're probably drawing your opponent a bunch of cards. So I have no idea what the opponent is on. They're definitely on a Thanos deck. We see the Time Stone and the Reality Stone coming out here, also the Space Stone, and Elsa Bloodstone, a card that has definitely fallen out of favor in this game since her nerf, but still a pretty powerful card for sure. Turn 5, we hit the Sera. That's what you want to see every single time, and sometimes the Sera can be a double-edged sword because our position right now is not the best. It's okay, but I feel like I'm definitely behind. And the Sera definitely gives you a little bit too much confidence sometimes. So the opponent throws down a very surprising Sebastian Shaw. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody hit a Sebastian Shaw with an Elsa. It's pretty cool, but I think it is a very narrow case. At this point, I'm so confused about what the opponent is playing. I'm kind of thinking that they might be on a Silver Surfer. Every time I see Sebastian Shaw, I gotta think Silver Surfer because that's how I play it. It's a big debate here. I got basically no lane locked down. Middle lane is pretty rough, and I think it would be a pretty hard lane for me to win because I expect that Shaw to probably grow to at least you know, another 4 power up to 22 in the middle. So I think that's pretty tough. I decide, let's try to take the left and the right side, throw down the Enchantress. She turns off the Sera, but it is irrelevant for the most part. Well, not for the most part, completely irrelevant. So we do get enough power over in the right lane, and we got the kind of big hit monkey, not the best one, and unfortunately the opponent has a much bigger Devil Dinosaur. This was a really cool deck from the opponent. I still have no idea what it is. I've not seen a deck like that. That's a cool brew. The deck sometimes loses, sometimes you just don't get that raw power output, and the opponent does. Too bad. Next game. All right, on to game number 4 against Jason, potentially a bot. I'm not sure, although I am playing an infinite, so it shouldn't be a bot. This game is a pretty wild one, and it has a lot of weird things happening. Anyways, we have a pretty good opening hand. You want to have Kitty Pryde and Angela in your opening hand pretty much most of the time. These two cards are such a powerful combination, and you get this awesome Kim Hasinko art, which is one of the first arts that I actually chased in this game. I absolutely love this variant, and I'm sure I'm not alone with that sentiment. So, throw down the Angela into the middle on Hotel Inferno, blow up their Hobgoblin, so I got to start thinking maybe they're on some kind of lockdown Galactus deck. You know, Daredevil plus Hobgoblin usually indicates things like Professor X, definitely Galactus sometimes, although, as I said in the first video, I'm not really expecting Galactus too often these days. I want to put a little bit more power onto a different lane. The Dream Dimension is terrible for Bishop, so Bishop has to go into the Baxter building, which is going to be pretty cool later on in the game. Now, I know they have a turn 5 cost play here on turn 4 because of Electro. I decided to play a little bit hard to middle with the Goose and Jeff. You know, if they put the Professor X in the middle, this would have helped me win that lane. They end up going into the Baxter building, and I'm feeling pretty confident at this point because Bishop is going to get big. I do have to be a little bit careful about this Sunspot. Sunspot can certainly grow quite a bit, but if they are putting mana or energy into Sunspot, then they're not playing to the other 2 lanes, and I think I'd feel pretty confident in that situation. I do have the Enchantress going into the Dream Dimension. Enchantress in this matchup, I feel like is not that valuable because what am I going to hit? Maybe a Devil Dinosaur? I'm not really sure. So I throw her out just as a 4/5, Kitty Pryde into the middle to pump up the Angela a little bit, and here we are on turn 6, and there are a lot of things to figure out. I think I'm going to be putting down enough cards to pump up the Bishop, just enough with the Jeff to help out to win that Baxter building. And I'm not really sure if I want to try to contest left or middle for my last lane. I do expect to get 3 extra power on the Dream Dimension and the Hotel Inferno from the Baxter building. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to win the Baxter building at this point because I'm adding quite a bit. And it turns out the opponent actually had the same kind of plan. I play Kitty to the middle. She pumps up the Angel a little bit, and they saved 5 energy, I believe, on that last turn, maybe 4 energy. Pump up the Sunspot to a 10, giving them 10 on the Baxter building, and we just narrowly take the Baxter building. A super close game, and end up going away with a victory. But oh boy, that was a sweaty one. And that's what this Sera deck does quite often. It comes down to the wire, which makes this deck so exciting to play. All right, on to the 5th and final game of this little video. Again, please let me know how this went. I'd really like a little bit of feedback to just let me know how you like the style. I really want to get personally better at commentating over these videos and just public speaking in general, which is one of my motivations for wanting to make YouTube videos overall. I need to bump up that confidence a little bit. Anyways, we got no plays on turns 1 and 2. Finally, we get a turn 3 Jeff, but the opponent has different plans, playing out that awesome Scotty Young Black Widow. I just opened that one, part of the New Year's Christmas track that Second Dinner was doing. My final card, I can't remember, the yellow variant card, whatever they call that, ended up being that exact Black Widow card. The opponent plays a Rock Slide on turn 4, so we know we are against a Dark Hawk deck. And the cool thing about being against a Dark Hawk deck, when you're playing Sera Control or Sera Hit Monkey, whatever you want to call the deck, is you have some awesome cards for that. We got Shang-Chi, and we also have the Enchantress. Now we get the Sera on turn 5. Sera on turn 5 is huge. We're playing into Stark Tower. I want to pump up the team a little bit over there, and I'm not really sure where the opponent's planning to play going forward. Now, I am able to move the Jeff on turn 6, so I know that I can put a little bit of extra power into the Stark Tower if need be on turn 6. Turn 5 ends up being pretty basic for the opponent, but they did play out the Zabu, so now I have to be thinking, okay, are they going to be playing 2 4-drops on turn 6? In that case, one of those is definitely going to be Darkhawk, and their Darkhawk is going to be a pretty big card. I checked my deck. I have 6 cards in the deck, so your Darkhawk is going to be, I believe, 12 power, right? Because the card gets +2 for every card that you have in your deck. It's a 0-4-4-0. So we play out the Shang-Chi to the left, we play the Enchantress to the right, knowing that the Darkhawk is going to get caught in the crosshair one way or another. Kind of give up the middle. If they left it, we would have tied it with the Jeff. Oh no, sorry, we would have won it with the Jeff. The Jeff is 5, taking the spot from the Killmonger, a little bit of pressure, and they end up sacrificing the Icebox and trying to win on Baxter Building, but we have the solution, the perfect solution. The Enchantress goes down there, makes the Darkhawk nothing, and we take an awesome win. One of the reasons why you want to be playing these sweet tech cards. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you found it interesting. I hope the games that I picked were very fun to watch. I think they're all pretty sweet games, and I do have quite a list of other games that I decided not to put in. When you're playing on the go, you know, you do go through a lot of games, and if you're recording every game, you're gonna find a ton of highlights. So if you're interested in seeing more of these, please let me know, and more videos will be coming out. For now, thank you for watching the video. If you want to see me opening up some collector's reserves and some variants, there is a video over there or over there. I can never remember which way it goes. I think it's going to be over there. Click on that, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Happy New Year to all of you as well. Bye-bye.